In this music tech revision session, we're going to look at mixing and audio production. This is slightly different to the AS exam again. It's slightly diminished compared to what it would have been and the kind of questions you'd be asked. However, the questions that you'll be asked for the A2 exam are more practical again. So anything that you are expected to know and write down and discuss, you will also be expected to apply to some of the audio files that you are given. So with that in mind, you're just going to want to recap some of this fundamental stuff. So looking at the four sonic qualities, looking at your application of effects, and looking at your application of automation as well. So in this session, we're going to look at, obviously, the four sonic qualities. We're going to look at how compression works, because that's always a big one. That's always going to be asked. That's always going to come up in some form or another. We're going to look at noise gating, how it works and how you could apply it, EQing and filtering, and then looking at panning. The panning questions generally are, listen to this and then pan it to the left, or why would you pan this to the left over the right, or something like that. And then looking at the production, including reverb and gelling your mixes together. So once again, these kind of questions will be more practical overall, but you can still get given written discussions as well. And the last couple of years, they've come as these kind of graphs where you've got to pinpoint the axes and just tell us why this particular graph illustrates an EQ or illustrates a certain kind of compression. I've attached those two questions at the bottom of this page for you to have a look at as well. So questions from this area, as said previously, you could be asked to place an instrument in the stereo field, or describe and apply an EQ or a filter, or even automate an EQ or a filter in a particular way for a particular instrument or voice. Describe or set up an effect, e.g. there's a reverb on this channel, but the tail's too long, or the actual reverb time is too long. Can you reduce it by so many milliseconds or whatever? Describe and apply the parameters of a certain process, like a compressor, set up a compressor in a certain way, or set up a noise gate in a certain way. Those are the general kinds of questions. As I said previously, I've included all this, plus I've included a whole bunch of research and development for you to kind of look into, all of which you would have looked at over the past 2 years. But just use today's session as a bit of a consolidation on all of that information.